coffee and tea are also plant drugs, and we don't think of them that way. We tend not to use the word drug when it's normal, but alcohol, coffee, and tea are drugs. Coffee and tea, we've been using them for a very long time. They've been acceptable for a very long time, but not always. And they were, coffee, we believe, was discovered with the help of goats. Abyssinian herders, goat herders, noticed that their goats, and goats are the great experimenters in nature. They will just nibble a little bit of everything to see what happens. They would notice that they particularly like the berries of a particular bush. And that led the herders, supposedly, to experiment and discover that in those berries was a seed, and that if you consume that seed, especially after roasting, you would feel really good, very alert. It would sharpen your senses, but you would feel differently than you did before. Tea, very similarly. It changes your mood. And why is this? Well, in the case of coffee and tea, we think it's caffeine, a compound that they both contain. Although the experience of coffee and tea is very different and can't simply be explained by levels of caffeine. Like most of these substances, there are many drugs involved, and we tend to focus on that one active ingredient, but there may be a great many compounds that are affecting the experience. So there's an example of two drugs that our culture celebrates. And some people would argue that the drugs that a culture chooses to celebrate are the ones that kind of helps it function most smoothly. So, for example, coffee and tea became acceptable during the Industrial Revolution. These were good drugs to take if you had to work a really long day and you were in a factory and you needed to stay alert. They did not impede the wheels of capitalism. In fact, they lubricated the wheels of capitalism. Cigarettes did too. Tobacco, another plant drug. And yet there are other drugs that get in the way of, say, the smooth workings of capitalist economy, and marijuana would be one of them. People don't really see the need to work. It diminishes the ambition and drive and makes people content with what they have. So that may be one of the reasons that in our very fast, achievement-oriented society, marijuana has been demonized.